Hi guys, this is Katie with another creepypasta for you all. The title of this one is I'm Never Taking a Job on Craigslist Again, and it was written by AMP. I hope you guys like it, so let's get started. So, over the past 7 months, I've been working for someone I responded to on Craigslist. I'll just explain everything. This seems like an appropriate place to post this. I was scouring the internet for some sort of paying gig. I didn't really care what it was. Then I came across a post on Craigslist. I had just refreshed the page and there it was. Someone was looking for a person to come by and feed their pets. I assumed they were probably just going out of town or something. So I contacted them and left my number through email. I had gotten a response immediately in the form of a phone call. The caller was a man who explained to me that he was moving out of town and his parents had cats they wanted fed daily. I gave the man my name so he could run me through a cursory background check, and in about 20 minutes, I was hired. I went there the next morning to get all the instructions and whatnot and met the man I'd spoken with on the phone. His name was Ben. Ben explained to me that he would no longer be able to take care of his parents' cats and that his parents needed to focus on themselves, so I was being brought on to take care of that, whatever that means. The money would be left on the kitchen table at the end of every week, $200 a week, just for feeding some cats daily. In addition to that, money for more cat food would be left for me as needed. Then he told me the first thing that I thought was very strange. I was to come at exactly 10 a.m. every day, and I was to be out by 10 a.m. every day. There were no exceptions. And I was to never, under any circumstances, interact with his parents. He told me that when I'm in their home, they will be in their chairs in the living room, watching television, and that I was not to disturb them, ever. He asked if any of that would be a problem, to which I assured him it probably wouldn't be. He then showed me the area in which the cats ate. There were 4 cats in total, and where the food was kept. While he was not rude in the least, he was very adamant that I not explore further in the house, to which I assured him also wouldn't be a problem. He ushered me outside and showed me where the spare key was in case the door was ever locked, but he told me that this was very unlikely to happen. And with that, he expressed his hope that I could be trusted one last time, shook my hand, and told me to be there at 10 a.m. every day starting tomorrow. If I was ever unable to make it, call and leave a message on their home phone, to which he gave me the number. I shook my head and was on my way. The next day I came, and I went inside at exactly 10 a.m. I walked into the house, and immediately to my right were Ben's parents. They were sitting in recliners facing away from me, watching some sort of game show on television. I announced my presence, just to not be rude, which they ignored, and made my way to the kitchen. I fed the cats, and the same exact scenario played on countless times over the next few months. I would come in at 10 a.m., I would get an unreturned hello, feed the cats, and then I would leave. On Fridays, I would pick up a small stack of $20 bills from the kitchen table. It was literally the easiest job I had ever had. Of course, then came the inevitable. One day I was running late. I got to the house at 10:08. I entered and apologized to Ben's parents for being late, to which, once again, I got no response. They just kept sitting in their chairs watching their game show. I went into the kitchen and fed the cats. I looked at my phone, which read 10:11. I walked down the hall towards the front door. When I reached the living room, I jumped and gasped out of shock. Ben's parents were now standing in the dark behind their chairs. They were completely still, and they were staring directly at me. Their gazes did not move. I apologized for running late, and I just got out of there. Though unnerved, I went back the next day on time, and everything was fine. A few months went by of nothing strange, and then came the last day I was there. I had gotten there at 10:03, but I wasn't worried because I knew I could be out before 10:10. The problem came when I was in the kitchen, and I heard someone whisper the words, "Help me." It startled me, and I jumped. I looked around for the source of the cry of help. I saw no one around, but then I heard it again. And then a third time. I began looking around before realizing I was running behind. I looked at my phone and it was 10:10. My heart sank to my stomach when I looked down the hallway and saw Ben's parents for the first time in the light. They were grossly emaciated and pale, looking completely malnourished. They were essentially walking skeletons. I apologized for taking so long and said I'd be on my way, but they just stood there, blocking the way to the front door. I said I would just take the back door, which was located in the kitchen, but when I went to open it, it required a key to open it from the inside. Seriously. It was at this point that true panic set in. I looked behind me, and the parents were now about half a foot from the entrance of the kitchen, and I had nowhere else to go except what I presumed was a door to a pantry. They had blank stares across their faces, and their eyes looked as if the life had left out of them a long time ago. In a last-ditch effort, I went to the door that I thought was the pantry, and found it led to a staircase leading into a basement, which, of course, had no light. As soon as I opened the door, there was a horrid stench that washed over the otherwise clean air that I was standing in. I carefully went down the stairs and looked for a window, but they were all nailed shut. I happened to look back up the stairs, and the parents were now standing next to each other at the top of the stairs. It was truly horrifying. They did not say a word. I pulled out my phone and called 911 because I just didn't know what else to do. And then when I explained my situation, they said they would send a car out immediately and to stay on the phone while they connected me to the unit en route. I ran into the dark basement using my phone as a light. It didn't provide too much illumination since I was in the middle of a phone call, but it was just enough to get by. There were racks of junk that lined the basement, separating it into almost aisles. I went down to check if any of the windows were possibly loose. They weren't. Then I turned around and shined the light in front of me, and I was inches away from the parents' lifeless-looking faces. I let out a scream, and I ran in the other direction. I tripped over something, sending my phone flying from my hand. Of course, it landed face down, so I couldn't find it. I ran back up the stairs and into the kitchen, looking back and seeing the parents standing at the bottom of the stairs with slight grins on their faces, just staring up at me. I ran down the hall to the front door and flung it open, screaming when I saw the cop standing right in front of me. He asked me if I was the one that called as I pushed past him to get outside. I told him that I was. I looked in the window and saw the parents sitting back in their chairs where they had originally been, watching their game show. I explained that these crazy old people had trapped me in their house and were chasing me around. The cop went to talk to the parents and look around while I sat in the cop car. He came back about 10 minutes later and asked me if I was sure that someone was chasing me. I said yes, I was absolutely sure. That is what the two old people that lived there. He informed me that it was the two old people that had lived there. He informed me that the people that lived there, the people in the chairs, have been dead for quite some time. I asked him what the smell in the basement was in my confusion, and he said there was another body down there. Backup eventually had shown up. I gave my statement and explained how I'd been coming there every single day for months and months to feed the cats. I told them to call Ben, the homeowner's son. I gave them Ben's number and it was disconnected. I found out a few days later that the body in the basement was identified as Ben. There's just one last question that lingers in my mind. One thing that, out of everything, I can't seem to understand. My question is, who's been paying me every Friday to feed the cats? Thank you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe if you did, and I will see you guys later. Bye.